Major developments this week around the Disneyland Resort. Walls are down in Toontown, revealing some fun new updates around Goofy's house and more. Scrims were down for a bit, giving us a peek at the Mark Twain. And the Great Maple Restaurant looks just about ready to open. But first, we're going to downtown Disney, where walls were down and more, as the stage and grassy areas have been opened up to the public. Will this be our last trip on the monorail? Do I need to get back on the monorail again now that it's open? I mean, I guess we could still look and see what's happening back here behind the building and in the dirt lot area here, which, I mean, eventually that's going to be something. We'll check in on that scrimmed fence area there where the stage used to be. Actually, let's do that first. I was here on Thursday because I was told that the walls were down. The fences were still up around the guitar pick stage, but the walls were down and we could see. I was like very excited. This was on Thursday. And what we happened to find first on our way in was that they were in the process of demolishing that former stage, the green stage that just sort of sat there in the middle of the walkway. Got like 7 or 8 hard hats there just basically manhandling that stage, taking it apart piece by piece. It's kind of cool watching them do this, you know, in a very old-fashioned way. It was just rip and tear. Here we go. They've ripped that piece down. They've done that. They did it 4 times. The 4 poles around there were ripped down. It's so cool watching a thing just sort of vanish right before your very eyes. This is a quick project. And then I found the guitar pick stage. There were crews there still putting on the finishing touches. There's the fence. But you can see, obviously, all the way through there. This, again, was really cool to see them working on it live like this. And it was also great to be able to see with a clean view, you know, the grassy area back there, the rolling hills. They really did it. They really pulled that part off. That was on Thursday. And that was going to be the centerpiece of our construction video today, just being able to see that. And I thought, well, it's going to be a minute before, you know, things start happening. And they're going to happen, but it may be a week or so. No, it was the next day. The next day, this place was open, and they were actually hosting a band. They were hosting a band, and we'll get into that in a minute. But first, this is Sunday morning. I came back on Sunday, and I took a complete tour of the whole little area there, and it's really kind of wonderful. I love those little. I mean, those chairs are not simple. Those are really nice chairs, and they're just there for anybody to sit on. You can lounge and take it easy while your kids run around, or if you want to enjoy some of the entertainment that's going to be happening later on in the day when they arrive, you can sit in those chairs too, which we'll see. We'll get back to that in another part of this episode, but I want to give you a nice clean look during the daylight here of the stage and the overall theming. They're really leaning into the mid-century modern, very Palm Springs. This whole area is very Palm Springs. The breeze blocks, the cactus, the perennials, as it were. And let me tell you, that grass, shockingly comfy. Okay, that grass had to be a couple inches deep. You could hear it crunching underneath your feet. It's not just AstroTurf. You can roll around and jump around on it, and it's very soft and cushiony. Premium fake grass this stuff was. Fantastic. And here we reached all the way to the back area where the hills are rolling. Kids loved this. I've watched a lot of kids play on these hills. It's really a really fun place to be for the whole family. And the cool part about those hills is that it's a nice perch for us to look and watch the rest of the construction. That's what I'm wondering if I need to get on the monorail anymore. So what we're looking at back here over that fence, that's going to be the rear entrance to this space. Off in the distance there is the Pixar Place Hotel. In between that hotel and this space is the Pixar Place parking lot. This is the area where we queued up back in the day when we were going to downtown Disney during COVID. That path that we're seeing that we'll watch them build, that path will extend out into that parking area. And this is going to be a way in. They're going to encourage, I would obviously see guests from Pixar Place Hotel and Disneyland Hotel to venture into downtown Disney in this way. And that path is definitely sort of a guided path to bring you into that space. Also a great opportunity, an up-close look at Din Tai Fung from these hills. I can get a little higher there. I might even, I don't know, jump up on that little raised sitting area back there. But we get a pretty good look at Din Tai Fung through the trees a bit, which, by the way, the trees are a very lovely addition. Also very desert, very Palm Springs. The chairs, you know what? The chairs are Palm Springs too. Those are definitely desert, sitting out in the sun type chairs that you'd see at a resort. There's Din Tai Fung right there. It's going to be a wonderful way for those guests to enjoy the downtown Disney area, and vice versa. That is the area we've been calling the Best Buy for a long time, but that's going to be 5 shops. Well, I think 3 dining locations and probably 2 retail is my best guess right now. Those steel vertical pieces there are going to be the definition for each shop, but there's going to be 5 different locations there in that building, and it's going to be great. This is really, really great. Now, one thing that I noticed though is I feel like in the future we may see Disney remove some of the grassy area right in front of the stage. I feel like it may be necessary to actually make that concrete in the immediate area in front, because when we were there later, or the night before, the people that were dancing, which there was a lot of dancing, but they were all doing it here on the concrete path, not on the grass. All the dancers were dancing on this little path, and I'm not sure that's what Disney intended. I don't think they intended that. There was only one group dancing out there in the grass, watching the band play, and everybody else was accumulating on the concrete. I have a feeling they are going to rethink what the grassy area right in front, because you want people to be dancing in front of the stage, not off the side. That's actually supposed to be a walkway for guests to traverse between the different shops, etc. So I think they'll rethink that if that continues to be the case, where we see guests dancing there instead of on the grass. And I think the reason is because the grass is so spongy. I'm not sure people want to dance on a spongy turf or surface like that. Here's a fun little addition. Disney sure does know how to theme their trash cans. Those trash cans are themed just like the breeze blocks, adjacent to the stage. This is just great. You're gonna hear me say that again and again as we talk about this downtown Disney area. Stay tuned for the end of this video, because like I said, we were there the night before and it was really great. I'm very pleased with how this has turned out so far, and it's just the beginning. Also on Thursday, I was in Toontown, and the walls were still up around the fountain, and the walls were still up at Goofy's Playard, although I did notice that power line thing. I'm like, okay, that's going to be a cool little addition to our construction update. And since then, a lot has happened at Toontown. We arrived on Sunday morning and found the walls are down around the centerpiece fountain here. The Mickey and Minnie Centennial Fountain looks great, looks just like we left it, better than we left it. Let's just take a quick panoramic tour around the fountain. All the little features were working. Water was operating everywhere. Pleasant and inviting. I love the fountain effects there at the top with Mickey are probably my favorite. Let's take a closer look at some of those water features. The clamshells, the frogs, and there's Mickey and Minnie. Oh my god, it looks so cute. It looks really great in front of the, framed with the El Capitan Theater as well. There you go. There's a clamshell water feature happening right there. By the way, one of the things that we noticed when we were watching them do this, from Goofy's Playard, was that they had dug up the concrete around here. So you can see all of this right here was replaced. All that concrete that I'm looking at down there on the ground, they tore that up and replaced it. So that's new concrete there as well. Also new. This has been the case for a couple weeks now, but we never really talked about it. But here's the new red bricks. I was glad to catch it early in the morning on this Sunday morning so we could kind of see it freely. But this is a great improvement over the previous green turf area there that was there. It was supposed to seem like grass, but it just looked terrible. Too much traffic there for grass. Way too much traffic. for the AstroTurf style grass. This is much better. I'm not sure why they felt like they needed to do that. This looks a lot better and obviously will hold up better to all the foot traffic. And then there again, you can see the walls are down at Goofy's play yard as well. There's the power line covering over Fort Max. Let's go inside to Goofy's play yard and see what else we can find. There's quite a bit here actually that they've done. We're gonna get into what they didn't do in a minute, but let's talk about what they did do. We're still waiting for the birdhouse, although I want to say that was a rock before, but now it's a brown box. We'll head up to Fort Max here. That's where pretty much you're going to see all the new stuff that they've added. There's the new power line cover for Fort Max. And they've added a bunch of little elements up there as well, which they actually animate, which we'll get into in a minute. But there wasn't a lot of people here, so I couldn't see I couldn't see everything working. I had to function everything myself to see how things, because they're interactive. The kids can play with them and engage with them. We saw in previous construction reports that they had put some scaffolding up there around the house. What they did was add some honey. That honey that extends from the beehive to Goofy's actual house. That's what they added. So there wasn't a lot going on in terms of structural stuff being done. Just that honey was being added. That's why there was just that little bit of scaffolding and just for a little bit. Back behind Fort Max, they've got this new addition here. It's a bunch of shields that Max and his friends have put in place to protect themselves, to guard themselves against Bigfoot, who they've been looking for. He's back there somewhere, Bigfoot is. They're trying to find him. And each of those shields are interactive, as you can see. There's Max's shield. PJ has one. Two-part spin there, the outer part and the inner part. Look at me. Look at me. You got a catcher's vest or whatever they call that. And then over here they've installed this this is something that we saw in the model, which I couldn't figure out, like, what were they doing back there in the model when we were at D23. We never saw that materialize until today. This is where they're fishing. They're fishing for Bigfoot, and there's a variety of bait that they've tried to use. Night crawlers, day crawlers, wall crawlers, but those are too creepy. Soup, too messy. Pizza, too tasty, even though it's got fish on it. Now they're trying steak. And there's the steak hanging right over the edge as bait to capture Bigfoot. So that crate right there, you can use that to lower or raise, I guess, the steak. There it goes. I am raising the steak right now. And then when you let go, the steak falls back down. I really enjoyed that, you guys. I have to say, this little section right here, a wonderful addition to Goofy's play yard. I really enjoyed that. And I think kids obviously will as well. Let's go back to Max's house, actually, because I wanted to show you this right here. That's a new little mural or whatever that was painted. Max and his friends painted the Bigfoot lookout. And then here's a closer look at some of the animated features of the fort. There's power line again. You got a golf club, and all of that stuff moves around too. It can be animated. There you go. There you go. See it? You see the power line guy there? That's moving about. So is, it looks like there's well, from here I can't tell what that thing is. It's where the golf club was. But you animate that by moving this thing. It's really heavy, actually. It's hard to move. I had to strain. It's a two-man job probably for kids, but you spin that around and it makes all the noise and things moving it. I want to say those are records. Those look like vinyl, and I think they're supposed to play sound as well, or music. There's supposed to be music there as well. It's delightful. No other word that I can make for it. It's just delightful. Meanwhile, back out in the yard, give us a long view of what's happening. Donald's boat is still, or I should say the splash pad, the duck pond, is still behind Scrim. and construction walls. I thought they might open this up at the same time as Goofy's house, but those two projects appear to be unrelated. But the rest of the walls are down, and we have seen that the seesaws are back. There they are. Look at that. It was left over. Somebody who had just gotten done playing. But the seesaws are back, so that's great to see those return. So it does give us hope that the birdhouse will be back as well. And hopefully, you know, the duck pond as well. Still waiting for the duck pond. And then back at Centennial Park, just for another quick look here, because we haven't been able to get back to Goofy's Playard for a little while, but you know, that's been open for a couple of weeks now. The park has been, and it looks good, but it also gives us a good view of this thing right here. That's the scrim, the mystery scrim that we saw pop up last week. What they're building here, what they're installing is that giant vine that we've seen in the concept art of a big giant vine, like a Jack and the Beanstalk style vine. Actually, if I'm not mistaken, it is. I don't know if it's ever been said specifically, but I'm pretty sure that is the beanstalk, because you'll see it growing inside the queue. Oh my god, this is wonderful. I don't know why I didn't put this together in my mind before. When you walk through the queue, you can see the beanstalk growing, and it goes through the ceiling. And obviously, it has grown out of the building. That's genius. That is just genius. That's great. I love Toontown. Oh, that's great. We'll come back next week, obviously, to check in on that. There's not actually a lot left in Toontown to observe now. It's just the duck pond and the beanstalk. Before we leave Toontown, I just want to add, very happy, again, being here, being back in Toontown with these walls down and having things mostly operational, you know, reminded me once more how wonderful Toontown is, and especially that they've made it even better, and we've still got better yet to go, but they've made it even better, especially Goofy's Playard. This really is a wonderful place to be. I'm really grateful that they did at Toontown, and I want to remind what a win Toontown was, in my opinion. Toontown is a real win for guests, and they did a great job. Like I said, more to come. We'll be coming back in the following weeks to see what else they can do here with the duck pond and that beanstalk. Now, forgive me, but I'd like to take a quick break from this construction update to let you guys know about GetAwayToday. You may already know that they are our preferred vacation planner, travel agent for our fans who are looking to book a trip to Disneyland or Walt Disney World or more. Universal Studios Hollywood, Universal Orlando, SeaWorld, Legoland, you name it. As of this report, they are official sponsors of this show, and we couldn't be more happy about that. We've really enjoyed our association that we've had with them for the past year or so, and they have been a great supporter of this show. And I'd like to think that we know them very well. We've met many of them personally, and we know how kind they are and how really tremendously good they are at their jobs. And that's why I'm confident in referring our fans to Getaway, because I am confident that you will be treated just as well as we have. If you're planning a trip to a Disney park or Universal or anything else of that nature, if you're planning a trip soon, use the link in our description so that they know that we sent you and so that we know that you were sent to them through one of our YouTube videos. And in so doing, you can be confident that you're going to be getting some of the best possible service from people who know everything there is to know about planning a trip to the Disney parks. Thank you for that. Let's get back to the show. That right there is the Great Maple Bakery. More walls are down. This has been behind walls for quite a while now. That is the Great Maple Bakery, and it looks great right there. Okay, so that's where they're gonna have the fire. You're gonna see fire behind that glass right there. So you're gonna have a mix of outdoor seating and indoor seating here. Again, the look at the landscaping, very desert-like. With more perennials and things of that nature. It's extending in a way the theming from downtown Disney. That must be the Great Maple, I'm assuming. That looks nice. They've got the menu posted up here. This is an all-day menu. I don't want to spend a whole bunch of time looking at it and showing it to you, but it's available on the website. And we'll walk up inside. This is from inside the Picture Place Hotel. This is, for those who remember, this was where they had the, I forget the name of it, the buffet, the Goofy's surfing buffet, whatever they called it. This is where that's what was here before. And this inside, the interiors look, I mean, identical to the concept art, do they not? You got a mixture of booth seating here, some small booths and some big booths, plus counter service so you can just slide up to the bar and have some food there right at the bar, which I love. I love bar service, you know, in locations like this. More tables in the back there. Modern American eatery. There's a closer look. And then out there beyond the glass there in the back is where the outdoor seating is. That's kind of old-fashioned too. The way the way that they have, you know, the booth style seats there. That's a bit old-fashioned. I kind of dig it. It's like from the 60s and the 70s, right? They certainly don't make them like that anymore. We were in DCA for Festival of Holidays on Saturday, and we happened to notice that the walls were down at Schmoozies. Looks like they're about ready to open. Everything looks to be about as it was before. I don't see any major changes there. The changes that we are expecting, though, can be found on the menu, and I'm not sure if this is why they closed Schmoozies, but I was sent this picture of the potential menu. I'm seeing at least 7 alcohol drinks have been added to the menu. Watermelon lemonade with liquor, Honest Abe cactus cooler, a mango madness with liquor, mango nada with liquor, strawberry banana sensation with liquor, cold brew coffee with liquor or liqueur, and an iced latte with liqueur or liquor. So it's still serving similar kind of drinks, now just with booze. Maybe do you think they would be so bold as to rename it Boozies? I don't think so, but it certainly does seem to be the case. Look for lots of alcohol to be served, $18 drinks at Schmoozies on Hollywood Boulevard. So that's pretty much all the stuff that is done. Everything we just talked about is stuff that's in the sort of done phase. We've got some ongoing projects going on still around the resort. One of those being the train station, the train stop at New Orleans Square. I'm talking about, again, there's been no update, no movement on the building itself, but I heard that they actually had 3 trains running the other day. The reason why we haven't, that's news, because they haven't had 3 trains running, because that building used to be the building where they controlled the lights, the red light and the green light, to tell when it was okay for a train to leave the station, you know, on its way to its next stop. And because they didn't have a functioning red light, green light system, they had to use caution. And so they took one train off the track, so there was always at least one stop in between the 2 stations, as opposed to some stations having, you know, a train per station. So the fact that they have got they had, at least at one point, 3 trains running, perhaps they were testing it, means we're getting close, I think, to them solving that issue, you know, because that was damaged during the fire. I don't think that it's in that building. I think they moved it to a different building, perhaps the one right next door, that isn't behind a construction wall. That's my guess. There's the Mark Twain. Scrim is down, giving us a very nice look at what's going on the boat. Well, actually, we can't really see what they're specifically doing, because as I understand it, what they're doing is the flooring, which would be difficult for us to visually notice from the ground. But I can tell you this, it looks stripped. They've taken all the ornamentation off of that, off the boat. There should be lots of little different theming touches and elements there on the boat. I don't see any, which means that they probably have replaced or painted a lot of that surface. That's why they did that. Doesn't that look new and fresh to you? Doesn't that look like they gave it, you know, a very nice makeover? I mentioned that you can't see anything, but we heard it. You can hear lots of whooping and hollering going on back there as we were there. Take a listen. But I mean, that looks, in some areas at least, newer than it did before. We've got a long way to go. This thing's supposed to be down for 5 months. So we're not anywhere near finished. And it could be that they haven't started yet, or they're just starting, some of the major parts of the, the rehab project. And, the stuff that we've seen them do is the easier stuff up front. And we were able to get a peek from, we're on the path that runs alongside Splash Mountain right now, looking through the secret path. No way to tell what they're working on out there. No way to tell. But they have wrapped it up. You can see they've wrapped up the rails there, which means that that's just for protection. So they are probably doing something beyond just the flooring. It's gone past that. It could be paint or something to that effect. Tiana's Bayou Adventure. Again, very busy work while we were watching things. This is from Thursday. Very busy. Lots of crew out there doing their thing. They're still stripping it down, still breaking down the mountain in order to get at the interiors of it and to update and to reskin the exteriors. If only we could know what those guys were working on right there. Is that sheathing? That's the lift hill. That they've added sheathing to this part of the barn or whatever you want to call that. For what purpose, I don't know, but we'll keep our eye on that. But sheathing generally means that they're going to do something, show related there. Well, that's interesting. There's 4 guys at the top of that mountain now. They're not. What are they? They're facing the other direction. This is the kind of thing we noticed at the treehouse, where they would just be up there looking out on things. I wonder what they were scoping out up there. Oh, do you see that? I don't know what they call that. The wiring, that they use before they start fabricating new mountain. I want to call it like chicken wire, but what's that? What is that mesh? It's like a mesh layer before they start applying, the rockwork formation around it. So that's good news right there, you guys. That's good news that there's going to be, they have tomahawked this thing, but that's just so that they can put something else in its place. That's really cool to see that. I really do admire this whole process. The amount of planning and thinking and creativity, and then the execution. It's really admirable, in my opinion. Everything, all the parts, all the components that come together to make a finished product like something as magnificent as a theme park attraction. It's incredible. My hat's off to every single part of these crews, not just the designers, but also the fabricators as well, and all parts in between. And I'm saying this, what are we? We're still, a year plus away from this thing being done. But we were at this point for that treehouse, right? Guys, this is the first episode of the construction report that we've done in I don't know how long that didn't include, well, now it does, didn't include a reference to the Adventureland treehouse. Obviously, that's opened and it's complete and it's guest ready. And we're not covering it this week, and I feel kind of sad. I feel kind of sad that these reports aren't as, they're going to be a little less now because of all this stuff that's done. But we still have Tiana's Bayou Adventure to look at. That hole is still there. We still have that hole to investigate. And that hole. Someday. Critter House is still there. I have a feeling that's just going to stay there forever now. I'm not even worried about it anymore. Same old 6s and 7s here. And then back again at the entrance, looking for those white X's again. Looks like there's a few more. Something new has been added there. What is that? That's CWM429A146 is what that is. They're going to install something on there, probably. Probably a light fixture or something like that. And that's its, that's its serial number. Anything, can we see any more? Let's go, Dave. That is nothing. Okay. Oh, no, you passed it. Go back. Yeah, thank you. Now it's blank. It's blank. But there's a hook there. There is a code on that one, but we can't make it out. It's CW4DS something. I don't know. Searching. Is that it? I think that's it. Oh, no, there's another one. There's a code on there, too, but it's too washed out. Can't tell. But a light fixture for sure. That's some kind of light fixture because you can see the wiring there. So they're going to replace it with something new. Probably something you can get at Home Goods because that's what they Tiana's Palace was decorated at Home Goods. And then you may have heard the news. Earl of Sandwich is going to be closing. Well, they didn't say that it was closing, but they just said that Earl of Sandwich was going to be opening up a kiosk, a small little kiosk at the other end of downtown Disney. The assumption is that they're going to be closing this Earl of Sandwich, so they are going to begin the process of building the Portos. People have been asking, where are they going to put Portos? They're going to put Portos right here. We all know Portos is coming. I want to bet, by the way, that those guys right there, those are construction executives, I think. But they're going to build Portos. Now, if you've ever seen a Portos, you know they're enormous. The one in Buena Park, the one in Burbank, they're very, very big. Much bigger than that Earl of Sandwich building is. So people are wondering, how are they going to fit it? Well, as I back up here, you can see there's a lot of open space here in downtown Disney. The space to its left, where those umbrellas are, you could put a building, extend the building there, and then even further out into the walkway. There's a lot of space out here that you could build a Porto. So I don't know how much of that they're going to use, how much of that's going to happen, but there's plenty of room for it. And then obviously you can build up as well. Although, as I understand it, the second floor of those Portos buildings are the actual bakery. So, but in any case, I do think that there's room for Portos here, and look for this area to go behind construction walls in the near future. Downtown Disney is happening. We're going to have visitable downtown Disney in less than a year. By summer of 2024 is my understanding. Now, when we first opened this show, we were talking about downtown Disney. I mentioned that Liz and I were there on Saturday night. Let's close this episode with our visit to downtown Disney on that night.
I believe in my dreams of you a million times. The moon above me has seemed to say, someday you'd love me. I'm only dreaming, but let me keep on dreaming a million dreams of you.
Now you love me, I love you. When this love is left do. Now I'm so very to by nature. And if you don't say to your nature, corners bomb so let funny people find how can be buzzing out. Take do. know and something to do. Now, I'll be you don't do and it's something to do. Now, I'm so very addicted to my day. And if you don't say addicted to your major, don't look for the funny people's mind. I can see all such an eye.
Little section. Those of you who have been here regularly, this was not here. This, I believe, was a movie theater before. So it's a nice little escape, don't you think? When you're on your feet all day and you want to come down and, you know, maybe the lines at the rides are too long, and maybe the kiddos need to get some steam going there. So, you know, bring them here. It's a nice spot, and we're happy to be here. Second day.
I cannot express to you how much I love this. And I think, you know, a lot of it is the band. A lot of it, I have to be honest, is the band. That's such a great, inspired choice for this space. And I hope they do more of that.